giving his time. He's a Super Bowl champion quarterback from the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Spent some time with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. 30-5 is the Notre Dame all-time winningest quarterback in their history. Mr. Ian Book, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How does it feel? Let's start out there to be a Super Bowl champion.
It feels great. Yeah, just being able to get that call at the right time, being ready, going back to a team that I've been on, and then just to get to win in that fashion was awesome. And being able to contribute any way I could was a dream come true, and playing in that game and getting to win this one was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask you, what do you think was more impressive? I know you're a quarterback, so you may lean to offense there with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, but the defense was pretty impressive. So in your opinion, in that Super Bowl, what was more impressive from that Philadelphia Eagles, fly? Was it the defense or was it the offense in your opinion?
Hard to give just one answer, but if I had to say, I mean, I guess I'll just say the defense. I'm an offensive guy, but I got to give credit there. Just the way they played was amazing. Being able to, hold Patrick Mahomes to anything like what we did is exactly what we were looking for. So I'll go with the defense on that one. It was super impressive. Almost a shutout in my opinion.
Yeah, really. And they got after Patrick Mahomes. We kind of saw that down here. We're a Tampa Bay sports talk show here. We watched Super Bowl 55, Shaq Barrett, JPP, Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh get after Patrick Mahomes, and watching that performance, I think the Eagles, they were right up there or better than the Bucs in Super Bowl 55. And that was saying a lot because, Kansas City, they didn't have a touchdown. I would say they didn't have a touchdown. The only touchdown they had was at TIA at the airport there with their 3 field goals. With that being said, talk about this coach and Nick Sirianni under a lot of pressure the last couple of years. In fact, the fan base wanted him out there. Talk about him. Talk about this offensive coaching staff and what do you learn from them in that time with the Eagles?
Yeah, I love Nick. Nick's great. Coach Sirianni he's been awesome to me, helping me in my development. But I think he's a great players coach. I think he's readily available for all the guys. He's played himself, so it's always great to learn from somebody who's done it. And he's in the QB room a lot, so I got a lot of time with him, and he's obviously really smart with his X's and O's. And I think he's just signed another deal, I'm pretty sure. So he's got a really bright future there in Philly. I bet he'll be there for a while.
And it certainly seems like the locker room supports him. The players supported him. So you got to be happy for him because, again, the outside. And we talked to, former Eagle quarterback Ron Jaworski on this show and saying, it's just hogwash at this point. He's a great coach. Give him a chance. You talked about that quarterback room, Jalen Hurts. Tell me what you learned from him. Tell me how impressed you are with his performance during that Super Bowl and throughout the year.
Yeah, Jalen's been great. He's been great to me, and I think he leads by example. He's the first one in there, and he's the last one to leave every time. He's a fierce competitor, and all he wants to do is win and help the team. And I think he's really proven that. I think 2 of his best games ever have been Super Bowls, and that's all you can ask out of a quarterback leading the franchise. So Jalen's got a bright future, and I really appreciate everything that he's taught me.
What's the best thing you learned from Jalen Hurts? What's a key thing? What's the thing that you take with you? What's your quarterback situation right now? Because I don't think you're with the Eagles. There was a report that you may have a tryout with the Denver Broncos. What's your situation right now, Ian?
Right now I'm a free agent, so I'm staying ready, staying in shape, and worked out for the Broncos 2 weeks ago. I've had a few workouts before that as well, so just staying ready for whatever's next, but free agent currently and waiting for my next opportunity.
All right. And I know I'm jumping around just a little bit here with Jalen Hurts. You also had some time with the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that correct? Did you get a chance to encounter Patrick Mahomes? Go ahead and kind of compare those quarterbacks, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, if you could, for me, because Mahomes, a lot of people say he's the future GOAT of the National Football League. Of course, Tom Brady being the guy. We'll get into that in just a little bit with who's your GOAT quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes, what did you learn from him? What was it like to spend some time in that quarterback room with him a little bit.
I learned a lot from Pat. Yeah, Pat was great. He took me under his wing as well, and I was just there for a quick bit in the preseason, but just to be in that offense with him and see how he operates his day. One thing I took from him was it was just so obvious how serious he took practice. The moment it started and he crossed those white lines, he was ready to go, and he practiced like he's the best quarterback, and that shows on game day. Supremely confident, and is close with all of his teammates, hanging out with everybody, and I think it brings the team closer. So Pat's amazing. I think he's great, and obviously just the arm angles and everything he does as a quarterback is all on top of the way he prepares. So he does it all.
We're on with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book from the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Of course, gets drafted by the New Orleans Saints in the 4th round. We won't say that. We did say it because, of course, we're a Bucs show here, so Saints and everything like that. But you talked about the arm angles. Do you see yourself kind of trying to emulate, if you will, some of those quarterbacks in the league? And does your quarterback coach say, no, don't do that? That's for Pat. What does that do? You ever do some of the stuff that Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, especially Mahomes?
It's funny. A lot of quarterback coaches will say, hey, you can try it if you can do it too, but it better be completed. You better complete it. So, but they do joke around. I mean, those are great guys to learn from. So why not try and just improve all parts of the game? And I do think a lot of the coaches joke around, though. If you're going to do it, it better be completed.
Now, look, you came from Notre Dame. You're 30-5 there, winningest Notre Dame quarterback in their history. Kind of talk about that, and also give me a memory from college, your best memory playing for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, choosing Notre Dame and going to Notre Dame for 5 years, best choice of my life. Just being able to play with some awesome talent, great coaches, and go to a university that is truly different than most universities. Just a winning culture here, a lot of tradition, and it was fun to be a part of that. I think if I had to pick favorite game, it would be when we hosted number 1 Clemson. I think we went to 4 overtimes and beat them, and it was a COVID game, so that adds a little twist to it. But we had about half the stadium full, so it was really awesome, and I can only imagine what that would have been like if it was not COVID.
How different is that with the COVID game? Because you're watching it on TV. We watched it. We witnessed it with the Bucs winning Super Bowl 55. They go to New Orleans and the Saints that year there. It's basically empty. How difficult is it to play in that type of atmosphere, Ian, when it's going on like that?
It was different. Just having half the stands, everyone's in masks. I remember our AD put out a statement, or I don't know who it was, but they put out a statement saying, nobody rush the field, please, COVID, and then everyone rushed the field. So it was a weird night, but it was like we were all celebrating. It was kind of cool during such a crazy time to kind of have that moment with our team and with our fans where everything felt normal again.
All right. Yeah, Brian Kelly is a coach. He just got done developing Jaden Daniels. We talked to him a couple years ago at the Outback Bowl, or not the Outback Bowl, but the ReliaQuest Bowl. How he was saying when Jaden Daniels comes into the building, he's going to command it. Talk about playing for him. What did you learn from Kelly? And are you surprised? I get it. He's had success at Notre Dame, LSU. Are you surprised that he's not in the NFL? And do you think eventually he may end up in the NFL? Talk about Kelly and his influence on you at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was great. Coach Kelly was awesome. Just giving me a chance. I really appreciate him for giving me a chance and always motivating me. I thought he did a great job of always being in the quarterback room and making sure everything was going smoothly. And I don't know if he's ever thought about NFL, honestly. I think he could do it, but I think he's a great college coach. And obviously, his record speaks for itself, and everywhere he goes, he wins. So I plan on him doing that at LSU as well. And I think he did such a good job with Jaden Daniels, and that's showing his rookie year was pretty special.
What do you think when you watch Jaden Daniels? Because, of course, he was in that conference there. I mean, how tremendous, how surprised were you? Because we weren't really surprised. But, again, you kind of have to look back and say, he was a rookie. He's doing all this. He's leading his team all the way to the NFC Championship game. He's having success. He's not having, those falls as a rookie as every quarterback goes through. How surprised were you with Daniels in that progression for the Commanders this year?
I definitely liked him. I thought he was good coming out, and I thought he was going to do well, but he definitely surprised me in how well he did. I think his poise is amazing. I got to see him play live in Philly when we played them, and his poise for a rookie is honestly pretty rare. I haven't seen it like that in a while. He's got total command of all his teammates. Like I kind of spoke about with Mahomes, he can, manipulate all of his arm angles, and I think he's just a true competitor. And when he can use his legs like that and become, one of the best runners on the field while he can throw, things get a little scary for the defenses. So I expect him to have another great year, and I think he's a beast.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast around with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Buck here of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, and of course the Saints. Go back to the draft process. You're a fourth-round guy, but you'll go back to the anticipation. You're coming out of Notre Dame. You're going to the Saints. You get an opportunity. Doesn't necessarily work out so well there, but kind of talk about the Saints and that whole drafting process. Kind of take us behind the curtain, if you will, getting drafted by the New Orleans Saints.
Definitely a dream come true. Been dreaming of the NFL draft my whole life. Been playing football since I was 8 and have watched the draft every single year. So when it happened to me, it was just an awesome, surreal moment. Got to spend it with friends and family. And to go to the Saints, I was stoked. I mean, Sean Payton, again, his record speaks for himself, but I was just pumped to go to a team where Drew Brees has had so much success as a shorter quarterback. That was something I was fired up about. And it was a great first year. Obviously got that one start. Wish I could get that one back, but that was a tough game with COVID. But was able to go out there swinging. So it was an awesome moment. And, would have loved to stay there longer, but things work out the way they do, and was able to get claimed by Philly.
Yeah, get claimed by Philly, and it definitely worked out. And to your favor there, you go and you try out for Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos. Do you kind of go back to Sean and say, hey, Sean, remember me? Come on now. Come on.
Exactly.
Remember this guy? Listen, you said that you watched the draft since you were 8 years old. I've been watching football since I was 8 years old, so I remember the draft also. What's your favorite draft memory? Is it about a quarterback? Is it about a situation? Is it the Mel Kiper blow up there on ESPN versus the Cole? What is it for you?
If I couldn't say my own call, obviously that was surreal when the phone was ringing and they said, hey, this is the New Orleans Saints. That was nuts. But honestly, probably would have been watching one of my teammates go maybe in the first round. I remember, being at Quentin Nelson's, draft party, and I think he went top 10, and that was insane, just being there for that moment and thinking, really just being like, wow, this is something that we all want to work towards, and we're just a couple years away from our own draft. So that was probably a cool moment for me. Yeah,
you talked about Nelson. I believe he went number 6 overall to the Indianapolis Colts, and I know a lot of Bucs fans wanted him as a guard. They didn't get him, of course. Talk about Nelson as a teammate. How much did he mean to you there at Notre Dame?
Quentin's great. Q was awesome. He's, I've got some really fond memories with him of him just being such a supportive vet on the team. I remember being young, and the Citrus Bowl we played in on New Year's, we won with a one-handed catch by Miles Boykin. And I remember Quentin Nelson coming to my room before there was like a team after party, and he basically said, hey, thanks for stepping up. Like, you've been practicing that way and staying ready for your moment, and you've now done it. And I just thought that was pretty cool to do that as a vet on the team. So that was probably one of my most fond memories with him. But other than that, he is a freak on the field. I can picture so many clips of him at Notre Dame just absolutely mauling people. So I knew he would have success in the NFL, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, offensive lines are always the best friends of the quarterback, right? I mean,
that's true.
You absolutely protect. So, Louis, you want to jump in here? You got a question?
Of course. I got a couple of questions for you, Ian.
Okay. All right.
So your time with the New Orleans Saints, you got drafted. I got to ask you, especially for all the Buccaneer fans out there, what was Buccaneer week like for you guys? Like, what was the attitude? What was the vibe like? Because you guys obviously owned the Bucs for a while. What was that like for you?
I'm trying to remember the games that year. I remember when you first, I think this would have been my first year, you guys came to New Orleans. I don't remember the score, but I think we won that one.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
Was it when Jameis got hurt? Or was that the following year?
I think that was, I want to say 2021. I think
Okay.
if it was
So that would have been it.
2021, that
Mhm.
was Brady's first year with the Buccaneers, right? Am I not mistaken? No, 2020 was Brady's first year.
2020 was Brady's first year.
Okay, so it was the second year. So yeah, he's right. Jameis did get hurt.
Yeah. So I remember that, and I remember Trevor Siemian going in and leading a game-winning drive. So that was something I'll remember forever because Trevor's one of good buddy of mine, and was fired up that he was getting an opportunity, and he went in there and did a good job. But you can just, I'll tell you, being a rookie in New Orleans, I could tell that rivalry was the real deal. A lot of guys don't like each other, and that's the way it is. But it makes for a great rivalry with two good fan bases. So I do remember my first game against Tampa.
What was
All
the most hostile place outside of Philadelphia? Because we all know how Philadelphia
Yeah,
is.
it's probably Philly.
Outside of Philadelphia, what would you say was probably one? You can talk about college too if you want. What was
In the NFL, I
most
would say
toughest
probably,
place?
yeah, in the
You.
NFL, I'd say probably playing in Seattle. My rookie year, it was like raining and it was dark and it was loud. And then I remember 2022 in Philly, we went to Detroit,
Mm.
and Detroit shocked me just being in a dome like that, and it was loud. I couldn't hear anything. So though, and then obviously, I've never at Kansas City's pretty loud. I mean, I was only there for preseason games and it was loud. So I'd probably say that as the top three.
Nice.
Talk about Jameis here. Jameis is a teammate. Talk about him as a teammate, because of course, a lot of Bucs fans very familiar with him. Number one overall pick didn't necessarily work out.
Very
but
loud.
still, unbelievable, attitude. Give us your thoughts on Jameis Winston.
I love Jameis. Jameis has been great to me. So supportive. Is always readily available. I was always asking him questions. He took us to Miami for team workouts. I've worked out with him before and his personal trainer. He was always inviting me to things. So I always felt that was pretty nice of him. But great leader, can get everybody's attention, can communicate with, everyone in the locker room, no matter who it is. And I think he's funny, as everybody knows. So he always brings a good attitude to practice. And it's obvious why he's had success in this league for so long. So fired up for him in New York. But I honestly, he was really a big deal for, part of my development early on in the NFL.
I thought he was hilarious during Cleveland with that first snow game. He'd never seen snow. That was his first game, and just watching him run around the field, he was like a little kid. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts, so that I don't like that white stuff. But watching him play in that the first time, I think is really cool. I got to ask you too, real quickly. So the Buccaneers just drafted somebody, kid named Benjamin Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know? And what do you think about the pick, and how do you think he's going to fit with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, I've met Ben, I think, once or twice now, being up here at Notre Dame. I mean, his tape speaks for itself. He is always in the right position. I think he's smart, aggressive. I think it's a great pick. I was fired up when he got picked for you guys, and they, from what I hear, like I said, I've only met him a few times. They just say he's a professional, and he was acting that way early on in college, which is going to translate to the NFL and be awesome. He's always treated college like, it's super important, like it is. He's been wanting to play in the NFL for a long time, and I think he took everything really seriously. So I think you guys are going to get a total professional.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. We kind of talk about the greatest of all time. Everybody says Tom Brady. In your opinion, is it Brady and everybody else, or is there somebody else that you think is the greatest of all time? Some people say Peyton Manning. What do you say here, Ian?
Yeah, I think it's Tom, but I think everyone's got their top 3 or top 5 guys, and Tom's in those for both, in that group for both of those groups for me. But picking one goat's always hard, but I would say Tom.
Who are the others here? Because you have free reign here.
No, you can only have one, man. Listen, there's only one GOAT.
He had said he had a list of quarterbacks. So
you can have a GOAT. There's the greatest of all time, and then you have your elite players.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Your elite quarterbacks.
I have the GOAT, but I was thinking I always have a top 3 quarterbacks that I like to watch. Or every quarterback's got a few guys that they like to watch and try to copy their game and take some of their tools and make it, put it in your tool bag.
Who are those quarterbacks?
I think for me right now, it's Matt Stafford is one of them. Just getting to play him live in a snow game. He's a great quarterback, and I love the way he throws the ball.
He's tough too, man. Tough dude.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And then Aaron Rodgers, I've always been a huge fan. Just the way he spins the ball, his total mechanics. I think he's one of the best throwers of the football ever, and he's someone I love watching. Again, someone with great poise. My third's probably Pat. Love watching Pat. Just the way he plays the game, and how he's a mobile quarterback that I try to be as well. So I try to take some of his game.
You watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know you watch other teams, of course. The talk is down here about Baker Mayfield. Give me your thoughts on Baker Mayfield, his game the last couple of years, especially last year. 41 touchdowns. He does have 16 interceptions. And the weapons that you have here with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, of course. But first, talk about Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I really like Baker. I've been watching Baker's tape since early on when he was, in college at Oklahoma. I've been watching his game. I actually think Baker was my NFL comparison when they do the draft stuff. So I like the way he plays, and I think he's proven that he is, one of the top elite quarterbacks, and he's done it everywhere he's been. He's always put really good tape together, and I think just getting more comfortable in Tampa Bay for him, he's only going to get better. So throwing to Mike Evans is always fun too.
Absolutely. And of course, Mike Evans and the New Orleans Saints, that rivalry in itself, getting the 1,000 yards there with the Jerry Rice record against the Saints. A lot of people went crazy for that.
Bittersweet.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you take from Baker Mayfield? Because it seems like you do take some things from do quarterbacks do that first and foremost? Because it seems talking to you, take something from a quarterback, you try to emulate that. What do you take from a Baker Mayfield?
From Baker, I take the toughness part. I think the way he plays the game with that moxie and that swagger that he has, running around and lowering his shoulder, where it might not be the smart move every time, but he does it for, the juice and getting his team fired up and letting his boys know that he's giving it his all. So that's why I like Baker. I tried to do that in college. I always tried to get up quick and show the guys that, it's a tough game and I'm ready for it. And I think Baker shows that, almost on every drive. I think he's got a great energy for the game. And that's what I take from his game.
Yeah, that's what a lot of Bucs fans love about him. Of course, we've heard coaches say, you need to live to fight another day. Don't try to truck stick a Barry Wagner there in the playoff game against the Commanders. I mean, you got to love that. The guy just goes
smooth.
Yeah,
I was a little nervous. I was like, oh boy.
Ahead. Third down, fourth down, that's a quarterback right there. And he's a short quarterback. He's another guy that's a short quarterback.
Well, he's feisty. And that's why the team is, I feel like that's why a team will get behind him and they rally behind him because he's not afraid to lower the shoulder, especially on a big time playoff game and you need 7 yards, he'll go out and go get 10, and I feel like as a teammate, you can respect that about a guy. You have a lot of quarterbacks that wouldn't do that, but he wants to keep the play alive. And kudos to him, man. Like I said, he's a dog.
100%.
Definitely is, Ian. We do appreciate the time. We know that you're going to be out at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, which you're going to be there on Saturday, the July 7th, or excuse me, June 7th, not July. That would be a long time. June 7th there, along with all those guests out there. You have anything you want to promote, say here on the Sports Web? Because we love to have you back to talk quarterbacks. So you don't necessarily just have to talk about yourself. You can talk about other quarterbacks if you want to. We love that. We talked to a guy by the name of Seneca Wallace, who's a quarterback coach there for the St. Louis Battlehawks of the UFL. We have him on here. He talks quarterback. So anytime you want to come back on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, you let us know, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me. No questions, but always willing to talk QB play. So
love it.
Man. Appreciate
Good stuff. Ian Book, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Congratulations to you. Of course, a part of the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs there, and the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame, Fighting Irish history. Amazing stuff there. Appreciate the time here on the Evolution. All right, my friend.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good stuff.